be early.
Early bird gets the worm.
Get the chip at least.
Yeah.
Well, we are slowly but surely moving our way toward a...
Yeah, we had a ceiling still over it. It's much older than the ceiling.
apartment.
Three or four.
Exactly.
We're working on that, yeah.
You got no choice.
We're down to about 3 or 4 boxes in the corner. We're still working on
This was
That's right.
People just do it.
These are just everybody's in this drawing plus John, what's up, Rich? You're more than long. Yeah, if we ever catch him. Last week we registered, so we're into the trip. Oh, yes.
We don't do them. Joel doesn't even do them. We have he says.
nice water house.
Barry, you ready?
Good afternoon. Welcome to Three Little Devils, and thanks for coming to TNT again. This is our 23rd year. Isn't this unbelievable? I think it's great. We pick up a lot of trash, and there's a big pile back here, and I want to thank every one of you guys for doing that. That is really important that we clean this lake up, okay, and keep it clean so everybody using it can, enjoy it. That's right. That's why we're doing it. Okay. We love giving away stuff. Don't get me wrong, but we really do it to clean the lake up. Okay. One of the other things we did this summer is we had some projects going on with the Department of Natural Resources, and they were working on some of the problems in the lake. And one is water quality, and there's a little bug out there, and it's called swimmer's itch. I'm sure a few of you probably have recognized it. And this summer, the park the last couple of years have been putting a lot of work into it. And this summer, they had a young lady they got out of the university to come in and do a study. And she's working on this and studying a lot. And I thought it'd be kind of nice if she would come down and kind of talk about her little study and just kind of give you an idea of what she was doing. And she's going to show you some of the things that she used to determine some of this stuff. And one of you nice people brought back one of her projects. Now, it was supposed to be left out there.
5 years of
But
research.
that's okay. Carrie didn't mind that. And I just want to have Carrie come out and just kind of talk about it. Let's give Carrie a big hand. Thank you very much.
As you already know, my name is Carrie Sheely, and I work with the Department of Natural Resources. I did a swimmer's itch study this summer out at the lake, and I know a lot of you probably have heard about swimmer's itch before or actually gotten it. It's a dermatitis or a rash that you get from swimming in the lake. It's caused by a parasite, or a trematode, that's the more scientific name of it, that is brought to the lake by migratory birds. The parasite itself has a two-host life cycle, which means that over the course of its life, it lives in 2 different organisms. It's so as an adult, it lives in the blood vessels and the intestines of migratory birds, and when they're brought to the lake, then it lives in the it lives in the intestines then of these birds, and when they come to the lake, they pass the parasite on into the water, and then the parasite wants to finish the rest of its life cycle by searching out its next host, which are snails in the lake. And it goes into these snails, infects them. They live inside the snails for approximately 5 weeks, and then these snails, in a sense, shed this parasite back into the water column again in the form of something called a cercaria. And that's what I studied this summer. Cercaria are very small, they're microscopic, they're less than 1 millimeter long, they're tube-like organisms that have a tail with a fork on it, and it's something that you can really only see under a microscope. This form, the cercaria then, can only live for about 24 to 36 hours, and its goal then is to finish the rest of its life cycle and go back to these migratory birds. But this is where humans enter into its life cycle. Sometimes the cercaria will swim around and they'll make a mistake and actually come and burrow into human skin, and that's what causes this itch. The signs that you have swimmer's itch are either you have a rash on your skin with little red bumps. You can have, in some severe cases, you can get pain and swelling and other things, but most people usually just get a rash that can last up to a couple hours to a couple weeks. So basically, there's very little research known or very little known about swimmer's itch. And so this summer we wanted to do a project about it. And ways you can prevent from getting swimmer's itch are when you get out of the water, you're supposed to towel off very briskly. What that does is it won't allow the little organism or cercaria to actually get into your skin and cause an itch. So that's what we recommend people do when you get out of the lake. However, once you get swimmer's itch, there's really nothing you can do about it to make it go away. You just kind of have to put up with it. But you can use things like calamine lotion and other anti-itch creams in order to reduce the amount that you're actually itching. Now, swimmer's itch is quite a problem at Devil's Lake. Over the last couple of years, as Joel said, more and more people have been complaining about it.
I've never had a problem with it.
It's such a problem that it's starting to deter people from actually wanting to swim in the lake or for using things, or for going diving. And so that makes, businesses such as Three Little Devils kind of suffer slightly. Because, people they either have had swimmer's itch and don't want to go back to the park, or they're afraid of getting it, so then they don't go and swim. So, the Department of Natural Resources, Devil's Lake State Park, and a special interest group called the Friends of Devil's Lake State Park funded a research project to look into swimmer's itch, to find out areas in the lake where it's causing most of the problem, so that we can find management techniques to reduce people from getting, or prevent people from getting the swimmer's itch. And so that's when I come into the picture. I did a lot of research before this project began, and I looked into seeing what other people have done in the past about swimmer's itch. And scientists have found 2 ways to try and reduce swimmer's itch, but they're kind of quick fixes. They don't last for a long time. They're not really effective in the sense that you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. It's not a long-term solution. And one researcher in Michigan came up with the idea of actually trying to target the migratory birds before they actually get to the lake. And what they do is they would collect these birds, they would inject them with certain medicines that would kill the parasite that was harboring inside of its body, and that would not allow the swimmer's itch parasite to be transferred into the lake, and then humans would not get it quite as much. Now that's not, it's a very specific, lake-specific type of solution in which you'd have to do it at every single lake, and it's pretty expensive. And so then other people have done research, and they tried to target the snail species in the lake by trying to kill them, and they would put in pesticides in order to try and reduce the number of snails in the lake, which would then reduce the amount of swimmer's itch parasite. But by putting in pesticides into the lake, you're also killing some of the other organisms, such as plants or fish or whatnot. So that's really not a very good solution. So then The purpose of our study this year was to try and determine ecologically safe management options to reduce the incidence of swimmer's itch to the people who are using Devil's Lake. So I'll give you kind of a little background on what type of research we were doing and what kind of sampling I did. I chose 10 different sites around the lake. I tried to focus heavily on the different swimming beaches, the North Shore Swim Beach and the South Shore Swimming Beach. So I had 4 sites at both ends, so that was 8 sites. And then I had 2 sites along the rocks, one over by the cabins and one over by the railroad tracks. And in these different areas, I did monthly snail sampling, where I went around and I scuba dived and I collected snails from each one of these 10 sites. And I brought them back to the lab to see if they indeed would shed the swimmer's itch causing parasite. In addition to the monthly snail sampling I did, I put something called a cercarial trap into the water. And what I would do is I'd put this in the water. I have an example of one here. It looks something like this, and it floats on the water itself. This rod goes down into the water column, and it's supposed to have some microscope slides on it. I couldn't bring any slides in today for this. But these slides were treated with a matrix or a material that actually attracted the cercaria. That's the form that the parasite is in when it comes out of the snail and can go back and infect or cause swimmer's itch in humans. And so what I would do is I'd set these out at each of the 10 sites for about a 2-hour time period to see if I could actually collect these cercaria. Next, I also did some paraphyton sampling, which when Joel referred to somebody actually bringing in one of my sampling gears, this is actually one of them. It sits in the water for 2 weeks and it collects paraphyton on it. Paraphyton is an attached algae, and that's a food base for the snails and for other organisms in the lake. But by knowing how much food there is available for snails, you'll have an idea of how many snails you'll have at each habitat, and then you could then figure out if you're going to have more swimmer's itch there or not. And finally, we did some water quality sampling every 2 weeks, where we would figure out the nutrients in the water and other quality items that just kind of goes over and figure out the actual health of the lake. And so basically that's what I did this summer. I just finished my sampling, and so my field season is now over, but I have to start analyzing more of my data. But I have a couple of preliminary results. We found in the lake there's approximately 15 different snail species in the lake that we found, and 4 of these species have the potential to have swimmer's itch parasites harbor in them. Those were documented in scientific literature. We had 5 cases of swimmer's itch reported to the rangers over the entire summer, which is a very small amount in comparison to other years. But the first report was on the 10th of July, and the last report was on the 5th of August. Last summer there were approximately 50 to 100 cases reported at the park. So that means this year was really a slow year for swimmer's itch. And out of the approximately 1,200 snails that we actually brought back into the lab to see if they were shedding swimmer's itch parasites, actually none of them shed any of this swimmer's itch parasite. Now that's kind of discouraging for me, but it's a good result for you guys, because that means that you guys probably didn't have much of a problem with swimmer's itch. But what I plan to do then is, now because we didn't really find any swimmer's itch in our samples, we can focus on the habitats where we found these 4 different snails that can have swimmer's itch in them. And then we can focus our efforts on the habitats that they're found in, so we can come up with management techniques for those habitats in the future. Joel this summer for helping our project out. I appreciate all of his help, and it made our project go a lot smoother. So thank you for listening.
Thanks, Carrie. Carrie told me when I told her she needed to come up and do this, was that I've never done that before. I think she did great. Let's give her another big hand. Thank you very much. I think, you know, I really want the studies to go on and things like that, and I really encourage them. You know, we let her use equipment for nothing all summer, and it's really important to me because I use the lake, and I hope you use the lake, and I think it's really important. How's everybody getting? Everybody getting filled up here? More food coming. We still got wine going, so I haven't eaten yet, so there's still food left. But once I get there, you guys are in trouble, okay? In about 2 minutes, we're going to start kicking things off after everybody gets through the line, and we'll get started on that, okay? We're running just a little bit behind because of the big crowd. There is a lot of beer left, I was told. What's going on out there? Freebird! You know, come on. It's free beer, come on. What is the matter with you guys, okay? Yeah. No, you're not getting me to sing, you know. You guys do not want that. Everybody leave. Okay. I'll be back in about 2 minutes, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Nobody could believe that. I had such
Everybody get in the beer. Everybody get a beer and sit
I was
down.
with you the whole time, so close enough.
Free beer. Free beer. No,
Come on, Mike, like your back.
So, you know, she
you're
just
not
handed
getting
me
that. All right.
it's number 13.
Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to first, we got a lot of people that came, and I just want to make sure of a couple of things. One is that if you went through the lunch line, you had a ticket. You did drop one in that little silver thing that John's holding up. If you did not,
I dropped both of them.
make sure one of those went in there. So we gave you this morning when we came to register. That has to be in there, otherwise you don't get any prizes. We wouldn't want you not to get prizes if you didn't drop something in. Okay. Keep that other coupon, that's real important. Okay. That figures no one didn't drop it in. Okay.
Well, at the very least.
Let's just start out with a big thank you. And the biggest thank you, obviously, is to everybody out in front of me. All the divers, and all the people that went and walked, and all the non-divers. Let's give yourselves a big hand. Okay. The other one I want to thank, I've got a lot of people here that worked, helped us put this on. And one of them is Dan Gefford. He's over there waving at you guys. He has been catering, I don't know how many years now, about 15 years, 16 years. And it's been great. I really like it, appreciate it. Let's give Dan a big hand for getting this done. And he loves cards, so if you guys need a catering job, please get a hold of him. He does an excellent job, okay? And one of the reasons I know a lot of you guys come is to help pick up all the trash. I know that's a big part of it. You guys just drive to pick up trash. And a few of you come for the beer, okay? So there's a special crew we got to thank with that. And that's Roger Clarky over there. He's my bird man. The bird man. And his able assistant come back for a second year was Bill Hildreth, who's John's dad. And let's give Bill a big hand. They are accepting tips, they say. I give him a tip. Get that shirt cleaned. A lot of the reasons you guys come, I heard, I don't know why, but you guys come to win prizes or something? Okay. No. Everything's come back out there, all right. Yeah, there's a lot of prizes to give out, and one of the reasons we can do this event is we get a lot of prizes from the manufacturers, and they do a great job. You know, we sent out a letter saying, please give us some things, and they come through with a lot of stuff. And there's a couple of them here today that I want to really, you know, say thank you a lot, because they gave a lot of prizes. We've got from Date Corps, Mike Martin. So Mike, come on, just raise hands so you guys get the right name. From Aqualung, we have Jeff Wanesteiner. He's also with Deep Sea. From Aries, the computer company, we have Richard Michaels. first spins Wally Gifford. And Wally Gifford was one of my students years ago.
Right after water.
Yeah, right after water. Okay. I taught him how to dive, and I thought, this guy can't swim. What's he doing in scuba lessons? And he's selling spins. I thought, maybe that makes sense. Okay, these guys are going to be here for a sail. Please grab them and ask them questions. They know their equipment inside and out. If you've got a question about something, please ask them. They really do know their stuff. Okay? So if you need some help, grab them anytime, and they're willing to give it to you if one way or the other. Okay, some of the other people that I can't put this event on by myself. It's a big undertaking. A lot of work goes involved in this thing. And I just want to thank the staff at Trio Devils. They are immensely important to this operation. Jim Wellman was one of them. His wife Mary Jo is here this morning helping out, and she'll take their son someplace, Berlin or something. This is Jim's big hand. Judy, some person here is Judy. She's the one that answered the phones and set everything up. And we had Tyler, who's some person back there. John and Livingston, and John Hilgers. It's right at the top. I got phone calls. I want to talk to John. I said, which one do you want? Okay, so what? Two Johns working here now. We also have Dave Petro. Diamond Dave is here. He's a hard worker. You've got to have a kid that does all the schlocking of the gear, right? That's Dave. And he's real good at it. He did all the trash collecting, the worst job here. He was down there did a great job. And I really appreciate it. Otherwise, I haven't been doing it. I've got a lot of independent instructors that work for me. And this shop couldn't be as big as it is. And it is big because of these people. A couple of people that have worked here for years is we've got June. She's got a lot of chairs out there. All right. Give her another one. We have Vince Roy and Terry Schmidt. Good job. We got people that come back and help out every year. We got Amy, you don't want to lose you. Linda Packer. Special thanks to her today and to her mother being 5 pounds from the stuff they keep bringing me. So they've been out. And we're also at Willie Salzman over there. He comes out. He does a lot of work. He does a lot of work in here. Okay. A couple of people that were here this morning that helped out registering people, and that, you gotta think about it. They went through 300 people in, what, half an hour to 45 minutes? That was Mary Jo Rallman, and then my friend Catherine. Where'd she go? She has disappeared. Yeah, stopping right there. Jim is out there, okay. A couple things is today I've been approached. I took Vince. I gave Vince a big hand. Yeah. Vince was good. When Jim was getting the encore, Vince opened it. Okay. A couple things. I had a person who came in and they said they found a mask. Okay. And she's right out in front. Can you stand up and show that mask? Did you get that mask out of the car? Okay, she says it's a black mask. She's the one way. You lost it? Go see her. Okay. She watching her. Okay. So try to get together on that. I need a Jamie Kowinski. Is there Jamie Kowinski out there today? Where's Jamie? Jamie, stand up. Everybody wish Jamie a happy 16th birthday. Okay. And to get going along here, we got to move right along and give out a few prizes. And of course, this event is to get the lake trout cleaned up. And we did have some super cleanup today, and I thought that was just great. And Jeff Wanishow has got a few prizes to give out for the most trash collected. And he's from Aqualung, and I just want to have Jeff give out a few little things here. Thanks. Now I got the best prize to give out because the park and the DNR really enjoys picking up the garbage and making the park clean for everybody. Thank you. First prize is a Matrix Master computer.
Right here.
Goes to 3008.
3008.
Claim check. The Matrix Master Module God computer. Thank you very much.
Alright.
They had about 45 bags of garbage.
Wow.
Can you get claim check tickets?
Yeah, claim check tickets, please. Second prize is our new low-profile octopus.
Nice.
We've only been delivering it since September 3rd, so it is brand new. Claim check 3011.
Now that these 3 O's, let's get down to the 27.
3011.
Let's meet you.